Welcome, everybody. I'm Chris Mazzella with CFES Brilliant Pathway, Program Director and STEM Coordinator. I'm very excited to have all of our schools participate in our Leadership Summit of Find Your Why, Find Your Passion. We are hosting A.Y. Young today. He is a United Nations youth leader. He's got a great story to tell. He's also going to share the 17 sustainable goals for the United Nations. He's a performer. He's a former basketball player. He's been a youth leader since he started writing poetry at the age of 14, and he's going to share a lot of this with you. Before we bring AY on, we are going to launch with a recent video. He's going to do 17 songs with various artists throughout the world about the sustainable goals. And we're going to share one with you before we meet and get introduced to AY Young. So Kelsey, you can launch that video. That'd be great.
Come together now. Oh, we've got to. Hey, oh, sister, look who's made a mind up. And now I can't find the reasons not to give up. Teachers, leaders, dreamers, let's go. They always take the right away. Leave the bell and let me bed. We can change the world. Is that a lie they told us? We can change the world. Let's shine a light back on us. We can change the world. So we got to come together now. We got to come together now. Hey, see, I don't like it anymore than you do. But in they ignorance, that bliss is for. Hey. So it's about time, be humble and realize that we are one and the same, unique and one of a kind. Cause by the days come ahead when we join together, push your best foot forward, go and make an effort. This is AY, I spoke to Akon, Marvin Gaye, we in the grapevine, let's have a great time. Influence great minds, I'm trying to pay my version of Picasso, this is colossal. So they always take the right away. Ring the bell and let me bed. We can change the world. Sing it out right now if you hear me talking. We can change the world. Black rock singing out, everybody sing. We can change the world. So we got to come together now. 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 We got to come together through the wind and stormy weather. Oh, we've got to come together.
Okay, so that was a taste of what AY does. We're also going to talk about the Netflix documentary that he's doing for the 17 Sustainable Goals. But at this time, I would like to introduce you to AY. He's going to share his pathway on how he became to be a youth leader and how he found his passion for environmental sustainability and how you can learn from this. AY, welcome.
Yo, what's cracking?
Thanks for being part of our day here.
Yeah, dude, I'm happy to be here. How you guys doing? Can they also comment in the chat box? That'd be super dope.
So the kids will be able to add questions in the chat box. If the schools could go in, identify your school, and as we evolve and things go through, if the kids want to ask questions, they can send them to their teachers. They can type them in, and we'll moderate those from here.
Awesome. Well, yeah, dude, I'm so happy to be here, and I hope that like through my story and like through through being what I call like an outlet for change, like taking a step every day toward my dreams and goals, I can inspire you guys, to find your pathway, man.
So why don't we start with your pathway? Why don't we start about, when you were young and how you wrote poetry and then kind of got inspired by what you saw with the lack of electricity in many rural areas and how people had to try to survive. If you can tell us about your pathway and where you are now and some of the future things, and I want to show the clip about the documentary. Netflix. So
yeah, heck yeah. Well, first off, what's up, guys? My name's A.Y. Young, right? I'm founder of this thing called Battery Tour, and I'm one of the 17 United Nations young leaders of the world. So I'm like whatever that means, right? I'm just like a leader of younger people. I don't know. But ultimately, all that stuff happened because, just like you're saying, Chris, I found my pathway. And shout out to Crown Point, New York. What's up? We got, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th graders in the room, So yeah, I mean, guys, as I get older now, I realize that, I was inspired by my family, my dad. I watched my dad, change my neighborhood block by block. Like he mobilized the community. We had like 4 drug houses on my block. And I watched my dad work with the chief of police and shut them down. And I watched him bring change. The same change I would write about all the time. I would write about how I kind of lived in the hood or the ghetto, and I would drive a few blocks and it would be the super nice area, right? And I would write that stuff. It was like poetry. It was like my passion. And my passion started to become change. Like, even though at first I didn't like, doing like the neighborhood cleanups because I had to pick up trash that wasn't mine on a Friday, which sucked, you know what I'm saying? But I started to like seeing the place around me and people plug into each other. So, I'll say that, I got my start musically on the X Factor TV show. I got 4 yeses from the celebrity judges, which is like L.A. Reid, Britney Spears, Demi Lovato, and I got off that show and I just wanted to say hey to the world. Like I wanted people to hear my music. I wanted to do what I love to do, which was like performing and connecting with people and like making an impact, like doing music, doing what I love to do. And I guess, that was the start of my journey of learning what my pathway is. I can go from there, Chris, if you want. I can just keep rolling.
No, yeah. I think it's important that the kids, obviously you had a great mentor in your father. He was certainly a change agent, to change, and you watched your neighborhood evolve. So it's wonderful that you had a great mentor, and you probably, also understood that he had setbacks and had to continue to progress. So, you get on, you get the 4 stars, you're moving with your message. Whereabouts did it come to you to say, I want to make this a global initiative? How did you get connected to the United Nations and say, I'm passionate about this? When did you find your why and your passion?
Yeah.
Become a global youth leader?
Well, I'll say this, like everything's in steps, and I think change comes from passion. And, but in order to know what your passion is, you obviously need to know what your why is. So, but for me, it was this pursuit of doing what I love to do. So, got off the X Factor TV show, I wanted to do these concerts and play for big name artists like Justin Bieber or Wiz Khalifa would come to town. I wanted to open up for him. And I would get hit with like, well, how many followers do you have? You know what I'm saying? Or how many tickets has your last tour sold out? And I'm like, none, bro. I just got off this TV show. I just got this song. And by the way, you don't need to have 1 million followers to make an impact or to do what you love to do. You don't. You just need to take a step every day. And so that's what I did. At first, I was tackling this thing of how can I do, because I think in this life, we should be doing what we love to do every day. And I was just like, how can I do, a concert every day? Because that's what Bruno Mars is doing. That's what Ed Sheeran is doing. They're doing these shows all the time. They're doing what they love to do. And I obsessed over energy because I was like, how do I power a concert anywhere? Right. And that's how I started. I did the due diligence. I did the time and the work. See, it's also like I believe in 10,000 hours of mastery. I believe in self-study and all these different things, allocating my time. So I obsessed over how to do it. I found out, oh my God, I can store energy in batteries. Right. And if you store enough energy, you can power anything. And so I started storing energy in batteries and doing these 8 to 10 hour shows. And it wasn't called Battery Tour in the beginning. I remember it was like show number 3 or something, and I'm performing, I'm AY, and I was looking back and I'm like, and this is the Battery Tour. And that's how the name came, right? And then people would donate. They'd be like, oh man, here's $10. We love when you do that Drake song. Oh, we love when you do that original music or Dolly Parton. And I would cover all genres. And they'd be like, hey, we're your outlets. We power the tour. And Chris, that was my eureka moment, because at that moment I realized, oh my God, everyone in the world, that girl that's 6 years old, that's dancing, the grandma that's 55, right? We're all outlets for change and plugged into each other on the community level, on the local level, on the national level. We can do anything. And so I started taking the donation money and went from city to city and state to state to go get the world plugged in, right, to my music. And that was like the first step, So again, success comes in steps, and it takes time and taking an action every day. And I'll add a little bit more to that. It wasn't until show 400, I've been doing hundreds of shows. And by the way, these were 8 to 10 hour shows, because when, I would look at McDonald's or Wendy's, and it's like, if I work there, I have to work a 4-hour shift. You know what I'm saying? So for me, doing an 8-hour show is a full-time job. So that crazy dedication and commitment, again, I believe in something that's called 10,000 hours, mastering something. Putting that work in. I used to play basketball. I don't know if there's any athletes here today. Shout out to any athletes, say something in the comment box. But, when I was in athletics, I wanted to be as good as Kobe Bryant, and so I would wake up.
Everybody did.
Who didn't? That was my guy. Some people like LeBron a lot, Steph Curry good too, but Kobe Bryant was my, and I would wake up and shoot 500 shots in the morning. And then after practice, I shoot another 500. I shoot 1,000 shots a day, right? That's a lot of time. That's time that I'm not hanging out with this girl that I thought was, cute. That's time when I'm not going to the party, you know what I'm saying? And that's time when I'm not playing video games. I'm putting Halo down in Fortnite, right? So a lot about success, and a lot about finding your pathway too. Once you recognize what your passion is and what your why is, and you're on it, it's consistency. It's taking a step every day, being an outlet. So I say all that to say, and I'll let you prompt the next question, bro. It was show 400. You know what I'm saying? When I was sitting in my car with the batteries behind me, and everything, and I was Googling, because it was weird to me how I would drive around America and places didn't have electricity, or the grid was messed up, or internet. Sometimes guys in Kansas and even in New York, random place, way out in the country, internet don't work good,
No, it doesn't.
And I'm like, right? I'm like, what, bro? So I Googled and I found out 1 billion people don't have, energy access. And so that's when it hit me. I said, okay, well, I'm an outlet. I can do one thing every day with my passion, because it's all about my passion every day. And the one thing I can do is a concert for 8 hours, and I can raise enough money, to send to build. I got to build something, so to fund, to build like a renewable energy box or something that I can get to these people, to get them plugged in. So I ended up building this solar box that you probably seen in my videos, and use the concerts to send one person, one village access to energy. And that's when I started getting the world plugged in. But it took a while.
I love the concept of the 10,000 hours of mastery. But as you talk about how you did this, one of the things, there's 2 things that I really took from this is you really established a network. You reached out to a lot of people. You were connected to big time performers who helped guide you along the way and give you some insights. Like you said, you didn't have to have 1 million followers.
I still don't. I mean, It's funny, I'm about to be launched as the face of Samsung. I'll be on Netflix with Zac Efron's TV show coming up. I've opened for Shaggy. I did a 3-city tour with Shaggy. I don't have 50,000 followers on my Instagram. Think about that.
Right.
Crazy, right? How is that possible to not have 1 million followers and be able to achieve this? But anything is possible if you believe and you put the work in.
Yeah, and between the network and the perseverance. I mean, I'm an old retired basketball coach, as a matter of fact. So
Chris,
have players that would shoot 1,000 shots a day. that's exciting to hear, you know. And I used to, you know, I did have a couple of my own kids would be in the gym before school at 6:30 in the morning, and they'd be putting it up, and that's perseverance. I mean, if you have something that you're passionate about, the best way to develop it, the 10,000 hours of mastery, you know, leadership skills, is you got to put in the work. There's no question, and that's a great example to share with our kids. So, you know, one of the things about the United Nations 17 goals, can you share those? Can you talk to the kids about Project 17 and what are the sustainable goals? And, you know, how are you working with these other youth leaders, you know, to get the message out?
That's a great question. Now I'm asking that like 1 second. You know, you said you're a basketball coach, and then I'm looking at the comments. I don't see a lot, but I see they said there's a lot of athletes at Crown Point. So what's up, Crown Point? How you guys doing? And it just made me think about like 10,000 hours, you know, and allocating, right? Like people wonder, like, how did he get here? I see him with the president now. Oh my God, he's hanging out with Billie Eilish. He's working on this with this guy. It's like, yo, like Stephen Curry has a great jump shot. Do you know how many parties he missed?
Yeah.
Do you know how many girlfriends he didn't get a chance to date and experiences? I can't think of the last time I had a vacation, right? Like I haven't, and maybe over 2-3 years. Like you have to understand, I was doing 8 to 10 hour shows. You know, I did 230 shows before the pandemic, over 800, close to 900 concerts since like 2014. You know what I'm saying? Like that is my life. And so a lot of it is choices. A lot of us don't want to make the choice to make the commitment. I knew I wanted to play in the NBA at some point. And so what got me a college scholarship was putting in that 10,000 hours, right? So I was okay with not hanging out with this girl that was whatever, going to the movies this day or whatever. You have to be okay with those decisions. So I say all that to say that's how, you know, once you find that passion, once you find your why, you know, you've got to put that time in. Now, you know, to your answer, or to your question, my screen is so weird. I got
looks good.
Hopefully you can see the goals. All of these ads that keep hitting me. Okay, hopefully you guys can see the goals. Here are the 17 goals. You're like, hey man, what are these goals? What are these 17? I had no idea either. And what is this UN? So the United Nations picked me to be a young leader. I didn't even really know what that is. You know, I got a call from the UN and they were telling me, you know, you're achieving goal 7. And I was like, what the heck is goal 7, dog? You know, I don't even know what that is. And so if you read it, goal 7 is affordable and clean energy. It's just saying like everyone in the world needs to have energy, electricity. Like, remember I said I was sitting in my car, I Googled, found out 1 billion people don't have energy. And so I was getting people plugged in. They said I was achieving it. They said I was also achieving goal 13, which is called climate action. Now, it's kind of funny because everybody talks about like sustainability or climate action. You know what I'm saying, Chris? Have you ever, you know, people, right? But that, you know, that actually is one goal. Right, that fits in 13. There's actually like 16 other issues that we need to solve. Like everyone needs to have water, everyone needs to have food, and like there needs to be gender equality for like, you know, right. We got to take care of our life on land, our animals, our trees. So if anyone's watching, and I know you know, I can't see the comment box too well. I want to know like what goal are you most plugged into? You know what I'm saying? Like what, you know, think about your passion, you know, and this may help you figure out your why. It's like, oh my God, maybe you in your mind, you're like, man, I really care about like equality and Black Lives Matter or all lives matter or you know, like, or I'm really into like, you know, making sure, you know, everyone has water or like, you know, whatever it is. Think about what you're most plugged into and think about, you know, what your passion is, because, you know, I think that this will be a really interesting discussion if I can see what you guys care about.
Yeah, I would. So with the students, I'm hoping that they will type in some questions here, you know, and then so we can find out if they can have some insights on how can they develop their leadership skills to get engaged in their community so they can take action. Now, they might not go on a battery tour for 400 straight concerts, and that's okay. But how can you take something that you are really, really passionate about and put it into action. Now, many of our schools that have logged in are up in the Adirondacks in northern New York. And you know,
City.
we'll have tons of schools from across the country watch this in the recorded version because it might not have fit into their day schedule. But I do think, you know, if the kids could share some of their passions, but if you could also give them little strategies to say,
totally.
how do you meet some of these goals? So we have a question. We have from the AuSable 10th graders.
What we got?
One of
What
them
we got?
one of the first questions is when and how were you inspired by your dad? That was a question from a student. You know, so we can at least start with that question.
Yeah, and I'll make that short because we got this trailer that's going to explain. But like, I mean, growing up, I had like, it was either 4 or 5 crack houses on my block. I mean, I lived between the divider line of these gangs called the Bloods and the Crips. They're gone now, but they were like 2 rival gangs. One wore red, the other wore blue. It was crazy. I probably would have got attacked for wearing the red today, but the Chiefs, were in the playoffs and I love the Chiefs. Anyway, so, and I watched my dad, like, first it was like, hey, someone needs to do something about it. No one's doing anything about it. And he decided to. And we started picking up the trash on the neighborhoods. I watched him contact the chief of police. I was homeschooled and a Boy Scout, but I would wake up and go downstairs and my dad would be in the living room with the chief of police and the mayor, and they're discussing the city. I watched him bring together block by block captains, and it went from 5 people picking up trash, just my family, to 500, to 2,000, to, it was crazy. And so that's how my dad, I watched my dad make, we didn't have curbs and sidewalks. Now you go through Ivanhoe neighborhood and there's curbs and sidewalks and working street lights, and the police come when you call them instead of a week later or not at all. It was dope.
That's amazing. But then what an opportunity to have someone role model change. We have one group from Crown Point. One of their students passionate about equity and poverty. How to help get out of poverty. And we have another student, mental health.
Yeah, Kristen, what's up? I know mental health is it means so much, yo. We have some people passionate about gender equality. Me too, man. I'm actually trying to get Lady Gaga and Lil Nas X on that song with Dolly Parton, because I'm making one song for each of the goals. And we'll talk about Pride 17, but yeah. How do you tackle FOMO? You want me to answer this one? Fear of missing out when deciding to work on your goals instead of hang out with your friends or that cute girl. I know that's hard, bro.
Really, in the day and age of peer pressure, all the isolation that these students have had with COVID, that's a great question.
I know, especially if she's hot, you know what I'm saying? Or he's hot, I don't know what you into, you know what I'm saying? Your preference. Yo. Well, social media helps a lot because you can at least see what they're doing on the phone. Nah, at the end of the day, like, I'm a vision guy, and so I always saw where I was going to be. To me, it was like, yo, and it's hard. Every day is hard, bro. You gotta wake up at 5 a.m. That means I gotta go to sleep maybe at 9 or 10. Like when they're going, that's terrible. I want to go too, bro. But you know what I wanted? I wanted to live my dream every day. I wanted to, keep my dreams alive even when I wasn't sleeping. I could picture and taste, the life that I wanted to live, every day. And that passion, that pursuit of also living in my passion, it's like I never wanted to be that guy. Those people that be like, well, they have a kid and they're like, well, son, I gave up my dream of being an artist to take care of you, but go be what you want to be. Like, I never wanted to be the guy to go tell someone you can do anything and not do it.
Right.
I wanted to do it, right. So, and at the end of the day, I looked at life and I was like, I saw where people's time put them. There are people that put their time in relationships, and that might be what they wanted. Now they're married, they have multiple kids in the family life, and maybe they don't have necessarily what kind of job or whatever that they want. And I saw people that put time in as an athlete, and now they're a professional athlete. I mean, it's a give and take thing. I mean, where you put your heart is your, treasure, your time. And it's like, what do you want out of life? I knew what I wanted out of life. Like, I wanted something more than the ordinary. And I knew what I wanted to accomplish. So you see the goal and you take those steps.
How did you manage your goal setting? I mean, because you said I'm a visionary, you have these long-term goals, but how did you manage it on a daily basis? Because I think that's what does happen. Kids have these great ideas. I want to do this. They run into brick walls, and then their passion kind of dwindles. What are some of the
and see,
things you did
the problem
manage
is
your goals
so
on
many,
a daily basis?
right? I mean, so many people see the brick walls as a brick wall. Like, so many people see the challenges or the steps necessary to reach the top of the hill, as like a hindrance. But when you look at those steps as just, growth experiences and ways to tackle new challenges and be stronger and to build resiliency, that's why when you're a weightlifter, you add weight on. You don't just add weight on after doing 20 pound, and then you add 40 and it's kind of hard and you give up. Because if you keep hitting that 40 pounds, it's going to get easy. And then you got to add some more. You got to keep growing. Like, I didn't look at it as that was stopping me. I looked at it as, okay, that's just another thing in the way. And here's how you, at the end of the day, this is what you do. You take a step. That's what Project 17 is all about. You jump, you take a step, whatever that step is, every single day. You take a step forward. So before I went to sleep, every single night, I made sure that I took at least one step toward my dream or goal. We can get into a bunch of stuff about like building a habit and like how you can build habits. And I basically, did all this kind of synopsis of myself and as a human, and I built habits that honestly are ridiculous, that don't make a lot of sense. But when I listen to Kobe Bryant or I listen to Steph Curry, they built some of the same habits that made them great, right? So I made, right? Bro, you can train your mind and you can, but start slow. If you're in 10th grade, 9th grade, 7th grade, take a step every day. If I want to be a ballerina, then I'm probably going to be stretching every day, at least 3 times a day, period. Then maybe you increase the stretching time and you add, right? If I want to be a cross country runner, my butt better be probably running every 2 days, every 3 days, and I never took a day off. And then you always add more. I want to be a good shooter, then I'm going to shoot 500. Okay, 1,000's a lot. Let's start out with 200 shots a day. That's a step. 200 shots a day in addition to the AAU basketball and the normal practice. Then you do 300. Once you can handle the consistency, then it's 400. You have to take a step every day. I didn't start out doing 230 shows a year. I started out doing maybe 50, 75, 100. Then I add another 50. Then I add another. That's how you build something. Nobody wants to build anything anymore. They think they can just hop on social media, and if they don't get 1 million views, we're done. You have to build. People call me an overnight success. This ain't I've been doing this for 10 years.
Right.
And you guys are just now meeting me.
Followers, right. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to understand that the goal attainment is almost, as long as you can help people along the way, and it may not be a huge following, that's a win. We do have a question from Northeastern Clinton. It didn't show up in the box. They sent me a note, said it went to my email. The kids want to know, what are some suggestions that you have that they could do small sustainability projects right within their school?
Oh, heck yeah. And I mean, we had the Project 17 program, and it's so awesome. This is what I think, yo. I think, first of all, man, it's about.
Let's spin this back 1 second. Project 17, I was not clear with this. I did send it out. Maybe not everybody saw it in an email. Can you explain that Project 17 is a school-based program?
Oh, yeah, totally.
First on that, and then kind of we'll go from there.
Yeah, I mean, Project 17, we have this educational piece, and it's based on the goals, and it's really just based on being an outlet. Like I said, everyone in the world is this outlet for change. That's why we're an outlet on me, right? And we can all do 2 things every day, right? We can take an action which is what you're asking about. What kind of actions can people take? And you can, and we should power and support change in general. And so that's what, the program is it's really just saying, hey guys, I'm an example of a guy who took his passion, which is performing in music. I looked at the goals, which is gender equality. Someone else said something else. I don't know. People had all kinds of
mental
stuff.
health,
Right, mental health. And then I took an action using my passion. My action is I'm gonna do a concert every day, powered by renewable energy, so it doesn't hurt the world, and then I'm gonna raise money to get someone access to energy, because there's villages in Haiti and Honduras and all over the world, Africa, and people don't have electricity like we do. But you might be different. There might be a dude one of the hoopers on the varsity team, and he cares about, animal life or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, you care about animal life and you're passionate about, or you love sports. And then it's like, okay, how can I, do something to make an impact? Heck, maybe you do some charity game, that raises awareness, and maybe $50 for the local shelter. So now you just played basketball to actually help people. I have no idea, but that's what y'all gotta figure out, because I don't know what you care about. But yeah, so that's essentially what the project is it's just saying, hey guys, let's use our passion to take an action. Yeah.
So all of our schools will get a copy of the Project 17 educational plan. And I early out when we were launching this, I did send a couple of the links to the videos of the teachers who had, I think there was a couple of teachers from Kansas City that actually talked about it. So as a follow up to all of our schools, you will get all that information after this. But
we may revamp it. I think I want to revamp it now too. And so I would love to work with Brilliant Pathways. Let's see if we can get some kids plugged into some change. Let's see what we can really scale it even.
That would be awesome. And and we have so many great young minds. I mean, I know we have a bunch of classes. I think Plattsburgh High School's on here. We have the AP kids from the environmental science and AP Bio. And, I think there are lots of students with some guidance and a playbook like that would be willing to say, yeah, let's set some goals and let's make some great change in our community. Let me just see if we have any more questions, because I did want to shift into, I wanted to see if Kelsey could pull up the link to the documentary that's going to be on Netflix with Zac Efron. And before we launch this, AY, can you give the kids some background? I'm familiar with what Zac Efron was doing with a lot of his environmental initiatives, but can you tell the kids about this first before we?
Well, I mean, this right here is just simply like I'm shooting a docu-series, guys, a 2-season for Netflix and Amazon on what I'm doing with Project 17. So this will explain Project 17, how I'm bringing the whole world together, the biggest artists in the world. For you guys saw those goals, so we're gonna have all the artists, that are great, singing about the one they care about, right? And then we're gonna use the money from the music to actually do the goal, right? So if it's the food goal, if you buy the song, that will fund getting people food, so it's that simple. It's but Zac Efron, in April, a couple of these tracks, 3 of them, to be honest, 3 of the sustainable development goal theme songs, whatever you want to call it, are releasing on his new docuseries. So I'm very thankful to have the support of Zac, and it's one of the biggest documentaries, and he's a cool dude, and Darren Olian. So there's a lot of things. And real quick, before you start that, a couple people asked. Somebody said my zodiac sign. Yo, I'm in Aries. And then what did you originally plan on doing as a kid? And something about college, but yeah. So I think my main thing, when I was younger, was I wanted to play ball, in the NBA and stuff like that. That's why I got a scholarship to play Division I basketball. But of course, I put the time in. But ultimately, what happened to me, and I made an overnight decision. But also it was very calculated too. It wasn't just oh, I want to do music and I quit. It was more I put the pros and cons together and realized that I need 5 years to build a foundation where I could call doing music not a hobby and at least a part-time job. And I think that there's so many people that don't understand there's a difference between a hobby a part-time job and a full-time job, right?
It's not a career. It's your career.
Yeah,
It's your
100%.
passion. Your career should be your passion, right?
No, it should be, but you also have to know how to get it there. And that's the problem. I see a lot of people that go, okay, I'm passionate about this. I quit everything. And it's like, okay, once you know, like, okay, I want to be a gymnast or a boxer or whatever, then you can start asking yourself questions. Well, how long does it take to get revenue? What is revenue? What are the revenue streams? What are the certifications? Do I need to go to college for this, or do I need to? Is it a know who you need to know thing? Is it you can put together a scope? And so when I was playing Division I basketball, and I was like, it was my freshman year, and I was like, knew that I wanted to change the world. So here's the thing. I always knew I wanted to change the world. That was like, I know it sounds corny, but that's what I wanted. And I thought that putting a ball in the hoop wasn't enough to do that. When I did music for the first time, I was like, this is how you do it, how you change the world. But I didn't just quit everything immediately. I put together a plan. I realized that with music, it needs a lot of investment of time and network and all this stuff. And so I was looking at my life and my age, and I was like, I got to hurry up and quit everything and put 10,000 hours into this. And it's going to be a hobby for a while before I can even call it a part-time job, because you have to build your worth for people to pay for you. You got to be great. So I was putting in 8-hour performances in front of a mirror, like in the very beginning, before I even started doing the 8-hour show. So there's a long story there, but I say that to say also be cautious and careful how you move. Like you might be like, oh, I want to be an entrepreneur. Okay, that's wonderful. Maybe you don't need college, but what do you need? And how, and right? So anyway, I'll say all that. And then so you were emulating Kobe himself, who said the most important thing is to try and inspire people. Okay, I didn't know I was emulating Kobe, but he's dope. And I looked up to him so much as a basketball player. I mean, who didn't though? I mean, honestly, Kobe was the best player. I mean, LeBron was younger, you know what I'm saying? But I wanted to be as good as Kobe and Jordan. So,
All right.
Yeah.
Hey, so we'll have Kelsey spin that the documentary prompt with the Netflix. Can we get that back up, Kels? Let's check this out.
Where did this come from, or why are you doing what you're doing? Like, why are you trying to change the world or bring the world together? I watched my dad change the neighborhood block by block.
Police say a Kansas City couple has reshaped community policing.
They have closed more than 700.
I came from a family of people that spent their life powering change.
He's making a name for himself in the music industry and for his commitment to renewable energy.
His name is AY. He's one of 17 youth leaders chosen by United Nations.
AY Young will perform at an inauguration ball for Biden.
AY Young is a name you might want to remember because it's a name some of the biggest stars already know.
I really see my parents in what I'm doing.
Our world is challenged like never before.
All 193 United Nations member states affirm what are known as the UN Sustainable Development Goals.
I get a call from the United Nations. They tell me about these 17 goals and how they're picking me to be the leader of the youth of America.
I'm here to listen. Don't ask me questions. Tell me what to do. Give me ideas.
My mission is to kind of break down these silos, these barriers, and build bridges to power collective action by bringing everyone together. It's going to be incredible. My work plan's in 3 different phases. I'm going to make an album powered 100% by renewable energy.
Right now, AY Young is working on an album based on the 17 United Nations goals. Major stars like Tech-9 and Billie Eilish will collaborate.
That's when it's special when you can come to my house and eat. Because we go way back.
When I was in Honduras, it's so crazy. I'm going from village to village, place to place to bring concerts, to bring people renewable energy. Yo, I'm AY with the Battery Tour. We're here in Honduras. It's beautiful. The people are so genuine. They're so friendly. But it's also a place where, like, you could be killed any second.
It's become known as the murder capital of the world.
There are 700 million people that are still living in poverty.
The
whole premise of your music is about collaboration
100%.
and about getting excited. It's about going across the finish line.
I don't think anyone can disagree that everyone needs to have access to energy, water, food. My belief is that everyone in the world, we're all these outlets for change. Oh, let's go!
That is so exciting that our kids are going to be able to see that. I mean, that's just the global impact is amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I mean, you were in Honduras. I've been to Nicaragua.
Oh, Nicaragua, yeah, dang.
And I've told when I was a principal, I would tell our students, I would watch them climb telephone poles and steal electricity from the government on a non-insulated wire just to get a light bulb or two into a neighborhood, so they would have some light at night. It's the idea that there are so many people who don't have electricity and the battery powered that you are being able to provide them is, that is changing the world. That really is changing the world. What is the timeline of this whole documentary?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm a young leader for 2 years. So guys, I'm like the only young leader that like represents the youth of the US, like all the kids, youth in the US. So it's a 2-year project. The first year is the music, which I'm working on. And the next year is the tour, right? Where we do the music, which I'm doing, working with these major artists, collaborating, plugging in people. And then next year we'll go do the tour. You know what I'm saying? 17 dates in the US because there's 17 goals.
Do you have the city set?
No, not yet. Now I'm touring all over. Like I just got back from Dubai. I got Lisbon coming up. I'm always in New York. I'm heading back out there in like 3 weeks, 2 weeks. Just dates everywhere, Florida, blah blah. But we don't have those dates set yet. We'll have them soon. I'll say this though, y'all can help me out. All right. Now here's the deal. I keep talking to all these schools, right? And I'd be like, yo, who is your favorite like TikTok influencer or YouTuber? Because all these people are plugging in. Like even the people that don't rap or sing, we're doing a poetry album, so they're able to talk, right? So that YouTuber that you like, you watch his video, he'll be plugged in and doing Project 17. And what I can't figure out is we have all of these super famous people, like people like, oh, the D'Amelio sisters, they're great. And I was like, okay, cool. And I checked out their stuff, D'Amelio sisters, they're on TikTok. And I was like, what do they care about? I have no idea,
right.
And what I'm realizing is that we have so many celebrities and we have no idea what they care about. So it would be super tight if you guys could just comment below of like, yeah, this person cares about this, because I have no idea what Cardi B cares about. I don't know what Kim Kardashian cares about. I can't figure out what this dude on TikTok, I forget his name, actually care, or the D'Amelio sister. Do they care about animals, food? Who knows?
Right.
This is what I'm trying to change.
You had mentioned part of this is going to be with Billie Eilish. She's a pretty good activist.
Yeah, Billie's great. Her team's great. She put me on her guest list, and I was like on her first 2 shows back, and I'm really good friends with her team. And Billie really cares. Leonardo DiCaprio is a guy who really cares about some of this stuff. I assume Lil Nas X cares about gender equality because he's like, very proud of who he is, but would love to know some ideas, you know what I'm saying?
So maybe we could do a TikTok challenge on the 17 sustainable goals, or just whatever your passion is. Find your why, find your passion TikTok.
Right. That would be awesome.
I wonder if any of the schools would be interested in that instead of doing TikToks that are not such in positive light.
Let's go.
Okay, so we do have a question.
Yeah.
When you're not working on your concert, what does your day-to-day life look like? You're working all the time at this, but what is a day in the life of AY Young if you're not performing?
Ha, yeah. Well, right, dude, it's insane. I mean, I'm 7 a.m. to 3 a.m. every day. I was up to like 4 last night. So that's just every day, Monday through Sunday. It's a mix of a million things because I'm doing this thing called Project 17. So right now, you know, I'm trying to raise money for it. So I'm actually at this like office because there's this really cool funding firm that like is on the team. You know, I'm in team calls. I'm with the marketing team that I have that works for Battery Tour, or talking about some contract, or I'm pitching to some company like Apple Music was last week, and Apple, the actual company. So it's 2 meetings because they're 2 different things. Apple Music's over here, and then this other part of their company. You know, I'm like, you know, I'm speaking, I'm doing this, I'm online, you know, doing something, I'm traveling, I'm doing all of it at once. And I'm always working on music. I'm working on my rock album. I'm working on Project 17, which is crazy because it's like 7 albums. Project 17 has the normal album. Then we have the EDM version, the poetry version, the acoustic version, you know, all these versions. And so, yeah, just the other day I was working on Bury Myself, which is like goal 1. I've been working on goal 1 with this artist called Tech9. He's like the #1 independent artist in the world. And then like I made this version, you know, that is literally perfect for Machine Gun Kelly and Youngblood and maybe like Blink-182, all on the same record, you know, for the rock version. And so, you know, I was just in the studio and I'm making the record and, you know, so yeah. I mean, dude, I'm doing a lot.
You are busy. So, you know, one of the things to sustain your sustainability, your project moving forward, you know, if kids want to take an initiative, and I know we have some older kids on this and they're thinking about this, how do you go about making the connections if you need to raise money? You know, well, obviously you do, but when you're doing this, what are some of the examples that you can share that how do you get connected to help people support your mission?
Yeah, like basically you're saying like how does someone connect to get people to support what they're doing, essentially? Yeah, I mean, first off, be yourself, guys. Like I wrote a song called "Say Hey," right? Or being yourself, say hey to who you are. Like always just be you. Don't try to be someone. Like, bro, I am literally the same person in a meeting with John Mount and Patrice Perez, who you don't know who that is, but they basically run Coca-Cola, right? The company, right? I am me. I am myself. I'm, you know, first of all, always be you. Because when you're being you, when you're being genuine, and especially if you're passionate about it, you know how you meet those people that work at Walmart and you can tell they don't really like Walmart, you know what I'm saying? But if you were talking to actually Wally or whatever the heck his name is, he's probably gonna sound so passionate about Walmart. You'd be like, yo, I like Walmart now, right? So you can tell when someone cares about what they, you know, so if you're living in your passion, if you're being yourself, that's the first piece. Because people want to connect with you, bro. They want to talk to you. They want to work with you. They want to connect. They want to, and you know, so I would say start there. And that's self. Like a lot of this stuff comes from you first, you know, because then your family and your friends and you know, are more inclined to connect you or say, hey, man, I know this person called Beth. You know, you should reach out. You know, those things start to happen while you're living in your truth. And then, of course, you got to do the work. At the end of the day, if you're looking for funding support, then use Google. Start using Google. Start Google is the #1 thing to me. It's funny, like artists, people come to me, hey man, I want to be an artist. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a singer. People ask me that. How do you open up for a big name? They ask me that. And then I'll say this. I'll say to my artist, whoever wants to be an artist, listen for a second. I'll say, hey, yeah, do you guys know what a booking agent is? And 99% people say, I have no idea what you're talking about. A booking agent? What's that? And I immediately, at this point in my life, I stop talking. I say use Google. Now, why is that? Is it being harsh? No. It's like saying I want to be a contractor. And then I say, hey, have you heard of DeWalt? And they go, oh, I have no idea. I want to build houses, but I've never heard of DeWalt. For an artist, a booking agent is like 99% of your money. Why is that? Because you don't make much money from music. You make it from touring and selling merch. And you have to have a booking agent. So if you're an artist, and you come to me and you say, I want to be an artist, and you don't know what a booking agent is, That means you didn't spend 5 minutes on Google figuring out how an artist makes money, right? So when we go back and say, well, how do you get supported? Be yourself, right? Live in your truth. And then you might have to do a little work. And I'd start with Google. It's that simple.
Very simple.
And that's a good start. That's a good start.
So I know we're probably getting close to our hour, and we've got, I don't know if we have any more questions, but once the schools get the Project 17 package and curriculum and stuff, will there be resources that they can reach out to as well to help build some of these projects within their schools?
100%. And we're building a big teacher support thing too as well. We're really taking it to the next level with the program. So, and there's tons of resources in the package and links and things like that. And I'll be looking forward to seeing these outlets get plugged in.
Right. So listen, I don't know if we have any more questions. I'd like to close it out with one more of your videos.
Nice.
And let the kids enjoy this. And obviously they can go Google, they can go to YouTube anytime.
Yeah, and can I say something? Can we get plugged in? Okay, so everyone has a phone. I'm about to roll. I have a meeting in like literally 3 minutes. I'm about to be late. But, get your phone. This is what I like to tell people to do, because I don't know who all is here. Y'all talking about 10th graders, 9th graders. But, if you guys see an outlet, you see like an outlet, like see the plug? You know what I'm saying? If you guys see an outlet around you, like take a photo, like a picture by the outlet, you know what I'm saying? And like post that mug and tag Battery Tour, tag me, say you're plugged in, you know what I'm saying? So we can all get plugged in together. I'll try to follow everyone I see who posts a photo of an outlet. Hey, on Twitter, YouTube, or not YouTube, shoot, you can't do that. Facebook, maybe you'll make a TikTok with it. I don't know. But I'm gonna do that. I'll post one. I'll see if I can find you guys, get plugged in. And man, thank you so much, Chris, for having me. It was a blast.
You are awesome. And one of the questions, we will share out all of your social media. It was on the initial flyers, but we'll share it out. Thank you for doing this. Great to see you again.
All right, man. Oh, shoot. Okay. Let me get a picture of you, though, one time for the good time. All right, cool. All right, bro. Peace out.
All right.
All right, peace.
Okay, if we can roll the last video, Kels.
This is Save the Planet, the sustainability anthem of the world. Welcome, guys, to my song. Save the planet, we gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Woo! Save the planet, we gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Woo! Save the planet, we gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Save the planet, let's do it, guys. For sustainability. They acting like we from another planet, Mars. They say climate change ain't a thing. What you talking about? What you know about that? What's your carbon offset? Facts, we just wanna act. We ain't sitting back. Solar power, wind and solar power. Everybody need the energy, let's store it up and power the world. Recycle, we need more recycle. But y'all acting like some followers on Instagram and Twitter, yeah. Tick tock, don't let the ball drop. The clock starts now, plug in, we gon' save the planet. Tick tock, don't let the ball drop. The clock starts now, plug in, we gon' save the planet. Tick tock, yeah. It's time to come together. Hey, to save the planet, guys. Join together. Hey, save the planet. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Woo! Save the planet. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Save the planet. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Save the planet. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Save the planet. Yeah. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Save the planet, we gon' save the planet. Yeah. Don't forget about the ocean, guys. The ocean is alive. Keep the plastic out. The ocean is alive. Keep the plastic out. The ocean all do it. Hey. The ocean is alive. Keep the plastic out. Yeah, save the planet. We gon' save the planet. Everybody looking at me like I'm from another planet. Yeah. Hey.